Hello and welcome to the Big Bang Theory podcast. My name's John. I'm here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Hello.
Hello, all right?
Yeah.
Here we are then, lockdown, week 45.
Here we are again.
Can you
Mental,
believe
innit?
the 23-24 season never happened? I can't believe it.
Oh, no. What can you do?
What can you do? It's good that Matt Jay's now the senior figure of the squad, but, you know.
Isn't it good that Tisdale's back?
Shame no games have been played under him. I wonder what it would take for Tisdale to come back.
Yeah, well, who needs games? I don't know. A lot.
A lot. I wonder if they
Yeah.
were like, Tisdale is, he's an antidote to coronavirus. And if you're within 50 miles of him, you won't get it. I wonder if that
are within 50 miles of him.
Yeah, if you're, you know, close. If you can see Tisdale, you're not catching it. Do you think then we'd accept him back?
Yeah. Well, some still wouldn't, but I would. Yeah.
All right. Well, Tisdale, let us know when you've cured coronavirus and you can come home. Are you all right up there, Dan?
Yeah, fine. Yeah, boring, isn't it?
Yes.
I've tried turning my hand to a few things.
Yeah.
Gardening. And by gardening, I mean just digging everything up. Not planted a thing.
Okay.
I've dug up a lot.
That's good. That's a useful skill.
And then, as I was telling you earlier, sort of trying to fix computers, and I have no idea how to do that.
You're like at two ends of the spectrum. You've gone really rustic and you've gone really futuristic.
Yeah, just trying new things, but new things which are already in your house. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're pioneering. Well, yeah. Let me get this joke in. You're pioneering futuristic things. Thank you very much.
Very futuristic for me, yeah.
Yeah, I'm all right. You know, I'm looking forward to the Bundesliga starting. I've never been so keen on Werder Bremen as I am now.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Got to get past Merkel first, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, old Merkel. She's
Yeah.
she's like the Atangana of German politics. Nothing's getting past her.
Nope. Just like him. Very similar people, those Nigel and Angela.
Yeah, I reckon.
Anyway, we've got an hour, haven't we? Because Zoom kicks you off after that.
Oh, is that right?
That's what we're
working with. So we're looking. We've been working our way through the seasons of success, the glory years, if you will, listeners.
Yes, the golden era.
The golden era. You can go back and listen. Last time we covered our successful promotion from the conference via the playoffs. The week before that, or whenever it was, we did our unsuccessful Wembley visit. This week, we're looking at 2008, 2009, our first year back in the Football League, League Two.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, it's also a successful season.
Yep, first time of asking.
Absolutely.
Straight up.
Absolutely. It's what built the Tisdale Empire. It's what built the reputation.
Yeah.
I was just saying to you then, wasn't I find it weird and depressing that Tisdale is some years younger than me when this season was happening than I am now, you know. Makes me feel...
Mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it is mad. Makes me feel
so
elderly.
How old is he at this point?
He's 35.
Oh, yeah, same age as me.
Do you know what he did that was really interesting? So we'll talk about the squad in a minute, but he brought in someone the same age as him. Marcus Stewart came in.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So they were the same age. And that's an interesting move on his part, isn't it?
That must be quite strange. It's a bit like when Andre Villas-Boas was the Chelsea manager, and he was 32. And so some of his squad would have been older than him.
Yeah.
But he also... At least Tisdale actually played the game, you know? He's a professional footballer, played in the Premier League and plenty of stuff like that. But, yeah.
Yeah, well, indeed. So he's a young man. Should we look at the squad first? I always like doing that.
Yeah.
Couple of new names.
Few newbies. Not too many left, did they, at the end of that season?
No.
Obviously, why would you?
Yeah.
Triumphant at Wembley. We did lose Friend. Why does my little list here saying that George Friend played 5 times?
I think he went mid-season. Or maybe the first transfer window.
Oh, Oh no! I tell you what it would be. Was it right at the end of? Would it have been right at the end of the transfer window? No,
I think maybe it was.
as in the August one,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
obviously now they've changed it, so they've just changed it, haven't they? So it's like that no transfers can be made after the season starts. But
yeah.
back then it would have been, you can play a few games and then someone can still come in for you. So he left, so he's gone. Other than that, I mean, who else went? I think John Richardson left, but he wasn't really playing much, was he, at this point? So.
Well, the thing I'm looking at tells me that the following changes happened. Archibald Henville came in. He was only 19 at the time.
Yeah. Young Troy.
And then, I don't know if he was there. I don't think he was. Stuart Fleetwood came in. And Manny Panther came in.
Yes.
Was there a song, We Got 10 Men and a Panther? There was, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I'd forgotten that. 10 Men and a Panther, Manny Panther. Who else we got in the team? In the squad?
What a name.
What, Manny Panther? Emmanuel Panther?
What a name. Manny Panther. That's just the best name anyone's ever had.
Yeah, probably is, isn't it?
It's so cool. Anyway.
Anyway, Panther came in.
It's a lot cooler than Troy Archibald Henville.
I mean, in fairness to Troy Archibald Henville, he didn't look like his name suggested. You're imagining some small square guy who's, read a few too many books. Me, essentially.
Yeah. Little toff sort of nerd.
Yeah. And then you see this massive 19-year-old from London. That's not the same.
Yeah.
Who else?
But also, double-barreled names are all the rage now, aren't they? But back in 2008, they were still a bit rarer.
They really were. Here's a name. I don't know. Was he here? He must have been here. But I think it was around this time I started noticing him. Bertie Kozic.
Bertie's there.
Bertie's there. Started playing. Ben Watson starting.
This season, yeah.
Ben Watson starting to come through. Sercombe is 18 in this season. It's a young...
Yeah, Sercombe features a fair bit, actually, this year.
Yeah, he was only just 18 beginning of the season. He would have been 18 around the time of the playoff final. So, yeah, it's a young old team in it. Harley's only 23. There's a couple of youth team players who didn't really make it through, like Jack Obersteller, remember him?
Yeah.
Moxie's only 22. George Friend leaves, but he's 20, It's a young team.
Yeah, well, along with some of the slightly older lads, obviously Edwards is in there, player coach. He played 47 games that year, Rob Edwards.
Did he really?
Yeah. Second only to Paul Jones, who played 49.
Wow. He's unstoppable.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. It's amazing.
What a machine.
Absolute machine. The listeners enjoy that, Dan. You just went robotic on the old Zoom call while you were saying machine, so that was pleasing to me. There's another factor in this season that's doesn't really show up in the statistics, but I remember the pain, as will lots of listeners. FA Cup first round, I think you skip the qualifiers. You're in the qualifiers if you're in the conference, but obviously you're back in League Two, so you get automatic to the first round. And so we got drawn against Curzon Ashton, and they beat us 3-2 away.
So, are you saying Curs and Ashton?
No, I'm saying
Curzon Ashton.
Yeah, Curzon, Curzon, new word, Ashton.
Right, where is that?
Curzon Ashton. The city. I have no idea. Let me have a look. But I remember those people went, and obviously it's a massive, giant killer. So it was everyone delighted. It was Manchester, Curzon Ashton. Grim.
Is it one word? No, 2 words.
2 words. Curzon Ashton.
It's a football club. Oh, it's Manchester.
It's Ashton under Lyme. Yeah, founded in 1963. Nicknamed the Nash. Anyway, They're in the Northern Premier League, or they were. When we played them, I don't think they even were. Absolute disaster. So that was a real grim one, and I guess we knew the seed was set for Tisdale's lack of cup runs after we'd had such a good experience with Manchester United only a few years before. We started to realise this was the first of many defeats at the hands of lower league opposition.
That's true. We did have some cup success, didn't we, later on?
There were
in
moments.
More recent years, a couple of big games, wasn't there?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I know what you mean. There was a lot of this. There was a lot of this going on.
Those were the early ones, and they were a bit depressing, shall we say.
Yeah.
Anyway, apart from that, it was, of course, a very successful season. We didn't really know what would happen. It was actually pretty close, but we finished the season second, automatic promotion, which was quite the outcome, was it not?
It was. So Tisdale gets Exeter City promoted from League Two at the first time of asking.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Which is pretty good, isn't it?
It's really good. We weren't far off. I mean,
Didn't manage to do it again, did he?
This was it. This was the end. This was the pinnacle.
Eight attempts after this, but
although I guess it's fair to say, as we'll come on to in another week, it's fair to say that we had a very good go at League One for one season, didn't we?
Oh yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah,
we'll get to that. But this was the end of his kind of actual success, wasn't it? It's an interesting league when you look at it. It's a real mix of what on earth happened to them and did we really play them only that long ago? So when you read up from the bottom, Luton and Chester got relegated, and they're kind of both went the opposite ways to each other, didn't they? Luton came back up pretty quickly and are now in the Championship.
Yeah.
Chester, I don't think they exist at all anymore.
Or no, maybe not.
Certainly had to go as a Phoenix club or something like that. Oh no, they do still exist. I apologise to them, but it was a bad do. So they dropped out and went into administration after the end of this season and have stayed down. It's a bit grim for them. So they had to change their name then to Chester FC. So yeah, they're now a Phoenix club. But of course, Luton flew on up. But here's the really surprising one, Dan. 21st.
Well, this is a weird season. I was about to say this was already a strange season on it because Luton, Bournemouth, and Rotherham all were deducted points, right?
Yep.
Before the season started for some sort of financial, discrepancies.
Yeah.
Obviously, Luton went down; the other two didn't. And they've all covered from it now. Bournemouth, well, obviously, we know what's happened to them.
Yeah.
And then Darlington in January. Darlington then deducted, I think, 10 points as well.
Yeah. Darlington. Go on. Sorry.
I'm just saying, it's a weird season that we're in, and maybe that plays into the fact that we go straight up first time of asking as a promoted team. But whatever. It doesn't make it. That's not our fault, is it? But
no, it's not. We took advantage of it, didn't we? It's actually really close. So there's only 10 points between us in second and Shrewsbury in 7th. Dagenham 1 point outside the playoffs in 8th. Darlington are a real example of what not to do as a football club, aren't they? They still, I don't even know if they play anymore, but they had built that enormous new stadium on the outside of town, grim. So they're in the National League North now. I think maybe even the stadium didn't last, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Yeah, they had the Darlington Arena. The Quakers, that's right. So they built this thing, the Darlington Arena, and it was a real all-seater, all-covered stadium. Beautiful.
Yeah.
No football happens there anymore. Madness.
Is that right?
Yeah, they went somewhere else. And then you've got some other kind of teams that have...
Did they serve porridge at half-time?
Sure.
Why not? You probably need it if you're in Darlington. It's freezing, isn't it, up there?
Yeah, actually quite nice, wouldn't it? A little porridge at half-time.
Pot of porridge?
I'd go for it.
Would you?
Hey, here's something for you.
No, but would you? Let's answer this. Answer me properly, eh? Would you really have a pot of porridge at football at half-time?
Yeah, I'd try it. Just a quick one more thing on Darlington for you.
Oh, yeah.
The manager is Alan Armstrong. Remember him?
Alan Armstrong. Remind me.
Played for Newcastle, then went to Stockport, Middlesbrough. Alan. I remember as a kid, I remember thinking How is that a name? It's Alan, but with a U.
Alan. Is that not a name? Is it Welsh or something? Maybe it's Welsh.
Alan. Who knows? He's born in Gateshead. I think sort of in the northeast, they're always sort of, coming up with weird names.
It's a bold blanket statement that I like.
Yeah.
The other teams that have kind of surpassed us. Wickham are there with us, and Brentford are there with us. So we're the 3 automatically promoted teams. Gillingham went up in the playoffs. They've obviously flown up. Rochdale and Shrewsbury, they've kept going. Bradford have kept going, or they've not gone. They're back with us now, aren't they? So it's funny times, but also this was just a bad time, wasn't it? You look at some of the teams that don't exist anymore. You got Bury, Dagenham and Redbridge, Chesterfield sunk like a stone, didn't they? Darlington, obviously, Aldershot again. Notts County, they gone. Macclesfield are about to go. Weird old times. And Chester City, completely gone.
Yeah, I think it just shows that, like, outside of the Premier League and, the top half, it's probably, or, depending on what, maybe not even, it's just anyone's only a couple of years away from, being completely over forever, and like, obviously we've seen that start to happen now, and like, whereas before it was smaller teams, like, fair enough, Chester and stuff, they were never huge, but it's starting to happen, isn't it?
It is.
More and more.
It is. Well, this season then, like, I got 2 very strong memories, and really only 2. Memory number 1, we got absolutely thumped by Chesterfield at home on a Tuesday night, 6-1.
Yeah.
And it's the only time, honestly, the only time in my whole life I've sat down in the dough bowl to the left of what used to be the benches, or what are the benches again.
Yeah.
The only time in my life I sat there, and we got beaten 6-1. I thought, well, I'm not doing this again. And that was a miserable night, and we were dreadful. And that was quite early on. And from then, actually, we picked up quite a lot. And that's my main memory of home matches that season. And then, of course, Rotherham away. We needed the win. We got the win. Everyone went bananas.
Last day of the season.
Last day of the season.
Yeah. So obviously that's the 6-1 is bad. Some terrible defending, but I mean, on the whole, the results for that season, it was a bit like we did sort of grind it out. It was quite Tisdale, wasn't it? I mean, I think there's a couple. We beat somebody like 4-1 at one point.
Yeah,
but it was mostly the small wins and important draws and stuff, basically to all the way to promotion.
Yeah, Tisdale. What I'm remembering most, I suppose, about this season is maybe the realisation that his very, what am I saying here? His very, systematic approach to the thing meant that it was only ever bad defeats, Curzon Ashton, Chesterfield, or just winning games sensibly. It really felt like that for a while. It didn't feel exciting. And I guess McAllister...
I mean, Tisdale's always the one for the pragmatic, wasn't it,
Absolutely.
And he sort of saw football in that way, as sort of like, well, just as long as we don't lose 2 games in a row, that'll be fine.
Yeah. And, I mean, we lost 11.
Yeah.
We lost...
You're right. I mean, our top goal scorer is Stano.
Yeah.
He got 10.
Yeah.
We didn't score that many goals, and then Matt Gill got 9.
How many did McAllister get?
McAllister got 7.
Yeah.
Marcus Stewart got 7. So
did he? I don't remember Marcus Stewart scoring a single goal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the goals are sort of spread out, but no one's got very many. And if you look at the kind of, it wasn't a particularly high-scoring season all round. I've got the top 10 league goal scorers here.
Yeah.
Number 1 was 20. Well, the top 3 have all got 20. Number Simeon Jackson.
Oh yeah. Gillingham, was he? Gillingham.
Yeah. Yep. Grant Holt.
Oh yeah. At Shrewsbury.
Yeah, Shrewsbury, now sort of WWF wrestler, whatever he is. And someone from Chesterfield called Jack Lester.
Oh, right, okay.
Other notable people in that, it's quite, you know, in this top 10, there's quite a few names that will come back to for us. Like Simeon Jackson's one. We know we've come across him plenty since. There's John O'Flynn,
Of course.
who came to us from Barnet a couple, was it the year after this or 2 years after this?
I don't know.
Anyway, he got 17. So did Reuben Reid at Rotherham.
Reuben Reid at Rotherham. That's an absolute alliteration dream, isn't it?
Reuben Reid at Rotherham.
Yeah.
17 goals. And then at number 10, joint number 10 with a few other people, with 14 goals, Ryan Lowe.
Oh. Who was he playing for?
Chester.
Was he?
R.I.P.
Was he really?
Ryan Lowe.
Well, I never.
Yeah.
That's very interesting, Dan. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the narrative around we've got to have a 20-goal a season striker was really starting to happen around this time. And you're right, Tisdale's pragmatism had already kind of set in, probably, but we didn't realise because we went up. And, I mean, obviously, it's better than you could possibly hope for, but in a sense, all he had...
Well, there's no way he would have been aiming for promotion, is there?
No. I mean, we're on 22 games, which is good return, you know, but 79 points wouldn't get us promoted this season, not automatic, not second. You know, the season we're in now, I mean.
No, yeah.
It was just a kind of drab affair. It was kind of the battle of the worst, wasn't it? I mean, that's unfair. Like, we did well, but there's no outstanding team. There's no massive team, you know. Bradford would have been really disappointed with that, I'm sure. You know, it was very funny, and you're absolutely right. We just used what we had that year to capitalise. You kind of remarkably.
There's a really weird. There's little highlights on YouTube of Logan scoring. The sort of the highlights from the Rotherham game.
Oh yeah.
By
the way,
there's
about 8 people there. I remember thinking at the time there's not many there. There's about 8 people, aren't there?
No, but obviously it's an insane place because it's like the Don. Do they still play there? Don Valley Stadium.
No. They got a proper ground now.
It's like a sort of athletics arena.
Yeah. It used to be like you'd go and see Roger Black and Linford Christie racing there, wouldn't you? It was a proper place, but
right, was it?
Yeah. Proper athletic stadium.
It looks nuts with football going on there. Like, it doesn't look like, it looks like they're at a tournament, summer tournament.
Yeah, okay. So the history of Rotherham was they were at a place called Millmore, not Middlemore, Millmore, and they fell out with the owner,
right?
The man who probably got the most Rotherham name you can imagine, Ken Booth, owner of Millmore Stadium.
Ken Booth is a reggae singer.
Maybe it's him. Anyway, Ken Booth falls out with Rotherham, so they just skip out, and they moved to Don Valley, and they did that summer. So they were there that year, and then they got hold of this one. So they're in the New York Stadium now, which is nice, a bit like the Darlington one, but much more fit for purpose. So
right.
Yeah, they were just there a couple of seasons, but it's mad, isn't it? You look at it and you're like, there's no one here.
It'd be like City playing Exeter Arena.
Yeah, it really would. Or yeah, I mean, it's weird enough with an athletics track around, isn't it? But you get away with it when you're in Italy and there's 60,000 people there.
Yeah,
when there's 16 people
stands all the way around.
Yeah, it's really weird. And people, we took a lot of people up. I can't tell you the numbers, I couldn't find them, but we took a lot of people up for that game. I really remember, obviously with the chance of automatics.
Yeah,
what a place to celebrate! So strange.
Well, when the final whistle sort of finally goes, there's like, people sort of you can sort of see the celebrations in this little YouTube video, and it shows Tisdale sort of. He goes straight over to celebrate with Perryman. Perryman's on the phone.
What?
As the final whistle goes,
and
Tisdale goes over to sort of, shake him hand or hug him or whatever. Perryman's on the phone to someone, but I don't know. Obviously I don't know who, but it's quite weird. Isn't it? I'll call you back.
Call you back. We just got promoted.
Promoted the first time of asking from into League One.
Perryman was treating the Don Valley Stadium with the kind of disdain it deserved, but he was missing the point, I think. That's amazing. That's bizarre, isn't it?
Strange behaviour.
There's a really good photo that's online of the squad, and this is obviously kind of the trust coming to fruition. Have you seen this photo?
I don't think so.
All right, it's good. Maybe we can tweet it out. I've lost it again now. Oh no, here it is. So you got the squad. 20 members of the squad. Dino's looking the wrong way. Love it. But then you've got the whole front bench is finance director, operations director, tag, assistant manager, director of football, youth football director, chairman, commercial director, match officials host, all on this front row. Like, they're all good people. They're all people that have worked really hard for the trust. But this is obviously, we're kind of saying, like, look, we've got a trophy from the playoffs. Let's really kind of show off what we got. It's weird. Like, you can't even see the players for the front row of people in suits. Hilarious.
Yeah, that's strange.
Yeah. And the main thing, if I was being a cynical person, I'm going to be a cynical person. Perryman is very much the main focus of that photo. It's really interesting to look at it historically now. You think, like, who was running this? What was going on here? Also, Harley's got the worst beard you've ever seen, but that's by the by. So yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah, big season, and up we went.
We did go up, yes. So on the last podcast, we talked about this, didn't we? About how you only sort of have an open top bus parade if you actually win a trophy.
Yeah.
Not the case, turns out.
Well, we had one this year.
There was one for this as well. I guess because they're like just consecutive years, you just forget. And like, maybe I know I went to one of them. I just assumed it was the playoff one from the year before. Who knows? I maybe just kind of like, yeah. I mean, I saw that last year. It's just a bus going down the road. I see those people every week playing football. I don't need to go and stand in Bedford Square and look at them on a bus, waving.
That's so weird.
But if you look at the footage and it's out there, it's busy.
Is it?
Just as many people. The only difference is on this one. They're coming around the corner off the Odeon roundabout, I'll call it.
Yeah.
And just about to sort of obviously get into the town bit, and you can hear the PA speakers from the bus blasting out "Dancing on the Ceiling" by Lionel Richie.
Yeah, of course.
Which we all were, weren't we?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And comes down all the way through town, same as the last one. Stops outside Guildhall. They don't go up on the roof this time. Tisdale though does a speech from the top of the bus
to the crowd.
Yeah, to all the people.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, maybe did the year before as well. Like I said, I didn't stick around for that bit, even on the year I did go. But it's not on the DVD. So he's on the top of the bus giving a speech, stood next to the mayor.
Yeah.
It's just him and the mayor up there. I don't know where the players are.
Right.
But the mayor's obviously got this, like, weird hat on. And the whole time I'm just thinking, like, is Tisdale worried that the mayor's going to try and put that hat on his head? Like, on the pitch the year before. Just constantly, like, anxious that someone's going to put a funny hat on his head.
I'm familiar with that hat. The tri-corner hat of the mayor.
Yeah.
That's got kind of black feathers, hasn't it?
Fringy, kind of feathery stuff.
Right.
Yeah. It's quite similar to the Jester kind of hat, but he did get stuck on his bonds.
Oh, I'd love to see Tisdale having a bit of a shoving match with the mayor over a hat.
Oh, on the top of a double-decker bus in front of half of Exeter.
Awful what happened to Tisdale, innit? Fell off a bus, wrestling a mayor.
Fair enough, the mayor won that fight fair and square. But, yeah.
Well, that's amazing. And the speech...
So we were wrong there, that did happen.
So the speech, Dan...
Yeah.
What's he saying?
Do you know what? It was like, I thought, this is going to be good. This is some good material for the podcast. But it's just not really anything. It's got that sort of slight, I can't really remember. I didn't bother to write it down. Sort of slight tone of, he's sort of telling you off. You know what I mean? Like he sort of had.
For not believing.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
For saying it was
the
boring.
Sort of tone of like, sort of told you so.
Okay.
But I might be being unfair there. Just sort of like, that's just how you appears in my memory now. But yeah, it's pretty. It's nothing. It's nothing special.
Wow.
But yeah.
Well, that's remarkable. So this was, of course, this is the pinnacle of recent times, or certainly in terms of celebration. We've never had a bus parade since. Certainly not a trophy, not another promotion.
No, and all the people there were chanting his name.
Were they singing "Kumbaya" to his tune?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't that. I think maybe that one wasn't around at that point yet. But it
Later.
was just Tisdale over and over again.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, I never. I mean, at this point, we're a real success story, aren't we? We've gone down. It's been miserable. The trust brought it all back from the dead.
Yeah.
Been to Wembley twice in 2 years, so it wasn't just a fluke, wasn't just a flash in the pan. We won the second year. We learnt from our mistakes.
It's an incredible 3 years, isn't it? Really.
Really is. 4 years. I'd say the next season is also part of that.
Of course, yeah, totally, very much so. I suppose it would have been comparable to if we'd got promoted. Matt Taylor's first season. If we'd gone up last season.
Yeah.
That you could have compared the two then, couldn't you?
You could have.
In terms of drama.
Yeah.
A couple of Wembley visits and then an actual change of manager, but
you know what? It would have been. It's much more, isn't it? Because you're right that in terms of what the manager did and what happened on the pitch.
But yeah, totally. Yeah.
It's all that story, isn't it?
Yeah. Obviously, this time we've been all the way to the brink, haven't we? And all that. So yeah, there's more to it. So.
And do you know?
It's incredible.
It must have felt kind of good. I don't think, and you can happily correct me, or listeners can correct me, I don't think we ever got deducted points for financial misdemeanours, in the bad days.
I don't think we did we?
I don't think we did. I don't know.
We probably could have been, and it probably would have been fair enough.
Yeah, but they're very kind of weird on what they deduct for, aren't they? Bankruptcy, you lose it for, and obviously not playing games and stuff like that. But these lot that we're playing at this season, they got deducted like massive points.
Yeah,
and I
don't want to start making this point too strongly, but because it's been covered. But I mean, yeah, fair enough. Those blokes we had running our club were bent as anything.
Yeah,
but I mean, Newcastle United have just been about to be taken over by people who have potentially done a lot worse things, and and plenty of other football club owners have done things which potentially are a lot worse than they did as well. So
yeah,
Although
I'm an owner of the football club and I've done some bad things in my time, but I don't suppose they're as bad as being an international warlord, probably. So it's you're absolutely right, but I think it's just part of the story, isn't it? That on the season where we don't just make progress we don't just get back to where we come from. We're actually going back to a division we hadn't been in a really long time.
Yes.
At the same time that's happening, these 4 other clubs are having loads of points deducted for similar, for being the opposite of us, as it were. Not being trustworthy and all that stuff. But it's really interesting. And Tisdale's basically king of the world at this point, with Perryman and with the trust. And but it's a funny, I don't know, maybe I'm just remembering it wrong, but it never felt like now where we've got this really good thing and it will be carrying on forever, which is what it feels like. We're trust run, we have this really good academy system where we've always got young players coming through. At this point there aren't really young players coming through. There's Circum and we've had George Friend, but it doesn't feel like there's this plethora of lads who are going to...
No, it's totally in its early days and we've not really seen it happen yet, have we?
No.
But the other thing is,
Oh, go on.
No, also it's like it's not exactly swashbuckling football either, is it? At this point, it's just it's a surprise season, a weird kind of anomaly of a year with all that going on. We aren't great on the pitch. We're not amazing to watch. We haven't really got any massively standout players even in the squad.
No, we haven't. That's right. With Friend gone,
we've got a lot of hard workers. We've got a little bit of talent in there as well. You know, like standout talent, but nothing unbelievable.
No, that's right. That's right. I guess Harley's starting to kick on, isn't he? But
yeah, but you might think if this happened to a team that they had one or two, just like you'd end up having like sort of someone who sort of really pulled the team through by scoring 30 goals or something, you know. But
no, that's
we're not
right.
even close to that. So
no, it wasn't. Funny times, great times. But I prefer it now. I don't know why. And maybe I'm just saying that because I'm in it, but I prefer this like that every week there's a new young lad that you can get excited about, and
yeah, that is great. Yeah, that is good. The thing is, I'll say all this, but I mean, we'll come on to this, but maybe whenever we do the next episode. But the season after this,
yeah,
that won the league. Wait, no, is it our first year in League One? We were up there for 2 years, weren't we?
Yeah, it's our first year in League One when we come 8th.
That's the one. That season, that was probably my favourite time to be an Exeter City fan.
Yeah,
that was. I mean, we'll talk about this on another episode, but that's when it really, that's when it was swashbuckling. That's when it was just really exciting, and it was just like you couldn't quite believe it, could you? Like every week, the results coming in and stuff. But
no, absolutely, it was. I guess that was made even more special by who we were playing against.
Yeah,
and we'll come on to this next week. But
but that wasn't the case this season, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was very much we've seen these lot a lot, but suddenly in League One the next year we've won. We've been promoted twice in a row. We're starting to feel like something's going on here. When you look, I mean, we'll come on to it, but when you look at the teams in this league, it's just absolute madness. Oh no, you know what? We're way wrong. We're a year out. So this year, the following year, we come 18th. We survive in League One.
That's what I thought. Yeah, so we have 1 year sort of, and then
we push on. Yeah. So the next season, so my numbers are all wrong. 09-10. So the season we go into after this, we play against Norwich, Leeds, who both go up. Millwall get promoted, but then there's still Huddersfield, Southampton, Brentford have come up with us, Bristol Rovers, MK, Brighton, Yeovil, Oldham. We play all of them in this season, and then the following year we've lost Norwich and Leeds, but we've got the Sheffield teams, and Huddersfield still, and all that stuff. So yeah, it was some really interesting years, like. To get to have Leeds and to go to Ellen Road. That was the prize, wasn't it? And we knew that was happening. Like they'd come down, hadn't they? They were already there. They'd been in League One a while, so we knew that we were going to
Sheffield Wednesday as well. It was an interesting time, wasn't it? It was kind of the first time, especially in our lifetime, that we're sort of like we've got league games against, these like historically kind of like massive teams, and we're in the same division and we're going to these grounds and they're coming to us, and it's not like it's not like our big day out in a cup plum draw in the cup or something. We're in the same division as these teams.
Yeah, it's real life.
And in a lot of cases we're beating them.
I know. Yeah. Well, so maybe what we'll do next time, what do you think? We'll talk about all the League One years all together?
Yeah, I was going to say we could skip over that first season, but we're sort of like, if we focus mainly on the good one. Yeah. But we'll just fill in the gap a bit, like, along the way, shall we?
Yeah, I like it. So that was 2008, 2009, the year of Craig McAllister, the year of successive promotions, second in the league. Tisdale doing another speech, who knew?
Yeah, Perryman on the phone.
Who was he on the phone to? If he was on the phone to you, listeners, get in touch. Tell us what's going on. Tell us what he was saying.
What was our kit looking like in this season, by the way?
Well, it was Flyby. It was...
They're all very similar around this sort of time, aren't
they? They are. It was... How do I describe it to you? Quite wide stripes.
Is it made by that one that's Show? Yeah.
Show. I believe the Flyby is printed on the shirt and it's still flyby.com. and it's got a
and it's all red. It's all red on the back, isn't it?
That's right,
Is that
and
right?
it's got a white kind of V collar at the front.
Yeah, I know the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still quite big. They've got big sleeves.
It's not a classic kit.
It's not a classic kit. There were definitely better ones. The goalkeeper's kit is a weird one. It's blue with a bit of thick yellow piping, I guess I'd say.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We'll come on to that. Well, will we?
Probably not.
I'll tell you what was a weird... Do you remember when... I think it was the first year that... Maybe it was the first year that Cabrini made the kit.
Oh, yeah.
And they did a little poll, like straw poll in the Echo. Which kit do you want out of these three?
Oh, yeah.
And you voted on which one you wanted. Do you remember that?
I do remember that, yeah. Yeah, that was
I can't remember when
Cabrini,
that
was it?
I think that was maybe 2012, 2010.
Cabrini was after Show, wasn't it?
Yes.
But before Joma.
Yeah, before them. And was there anything in between? I don't know. Anyway, I just remember that little vote thing they did.
Back when newspapers existed. Let's talk about this season then, or whatever's going to happen with it. There's talk of a few things. Have you been following this stuff?
Here and there.
So they're saying that maybe it's looking more likely that the Premier League will happen behind closed doors, but there's kind of no mention of EFL at the minute. I guess they're waiting to see what happens with the Premier League.
Yeah.
If closed doors happen, we could watch everything on iFollow, they're saying. Whether we pay game per game or not, I don't know. I guess they'll need to find money from somewhere. If they don't happen, there's no talk of the league being voided, or very little talk of that, because it's essentially the Premier League problem of they've got to send someone to Europe, and the teams that are at the top of the Championship are obviously desperate. They're basically promoted anyway, so are really desperate that they get to go up. So there's two solutions apparently. One, they grow the Premier League next year and it's 22 teams.
I've heard about this, yeah.
Or they don't. They do promotion and relegation based on points per game from a point when everyone had played the same amount of games.
Okay, yeah.
Now, of course,
the
downside for us is
Premier League used to be 22 teams, didn't it, as well, back in the day?
Did it?
Yeah.
The downside for us is we sit in fourth, that's true, and 4 teams might go up, or should go up normally, but Cheltenham, who are behind us, have got a game in hand, and if they were to win that game in hand, or if they were to be counted on points per game, we would be 5th in that table. So I think we got to prepare ourselves for...
I mean, what a stitch-up that would be. You finish 4th in the table, but the team below you goes up.
It would be a real stitch-up. There's some talk...
I know this is all insane. This is, unprecedented times and all that and stuff.
Yeah.
But and if the Football League can be relied to do one thing, it's to do everything wrong. So we'll see. I'm not holding my breath for any sort of good...
No.
Outcome for all sorts of reasons. One, because there can't really be a good outcome for this because it's such a massive disaster for everything.
Yeah.
And 2, because the people making these decisions usually get it wrong. But
who knows? I mean, I do think that the more things open up, the more they'll think maybe there's a better chance of something happening. But yeah, I could fully foresee that it'll be worked out that we would actually have been 5th, which will be, hard to stomach, I guess. The other possible
I'll be livid.
Of course, we haven't played Argyle yet, and we haven't played Cheltenham at Cheltenham yet. They were supposed to happen, weren't they?
That's
March.
The other thing. That's why it doesn't. That's why these things that wouldn't be. I know they're not going to take this into account, but that's why it wouldn't necessarily be. Surely would you not have to take into account who they played and who they hadn't played yet?
You think so?
Based on those positions,
You'd think so.
That's why it's not completely equal anyway.
We'll wait and see, of course. I'm glad I don't have to make the decision, but I think that would be a shame. I mean, my natural inclination, not that I know anything about anything, would be, it's more important to finish this season than it is to start next season. Isn't there scope for when things can resume, whenever that is, you finish this season off, and then you start the next season when that's able to do. But I realise there's all these questions around contracts, aren't there?
That's the thing, yeah. Half these players would have, would be, a lot of them would would be gone by now, wouldn't they? Or not?
Yeah.
Well, not by now, but very, very shortly would be gone.
Yeah.
The season's over by this point, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Apart from the playoffs, we'd be having playoffs probably today or tomorrow or something, would we?
Yeah, we would. So yeah, we got nothing to go on, and I don't know what will happen. Probably the outcome will be something that means that Argyle get all the plaudits and we get none. That's probably what will happen.
Bound to be.
If history's taught us anything. Anyway, I hope, listeners, you're all okay out there. Dan, have we got anything else we want to talk about, or are we okay for now?
I think that's about it. I just want to, obviously we're having it's a weird setup here. Like I was saying earlier, even though I'm trying to fix the computer, we're not exactly, neither me or you are particularly techie kind of people, are we?
Futuristic, that's how I think of us.
So this, exactly. So this one, I think of us as international warlords. But so this episode might sound weird. I might sound like I'm in some sort of mechanical box or a tunnel or who knows what, because I'm recording this over FaceTime audio. Normally we use Zoom. That won't work. That would make us sound like robots. If you're some sort of tech genius and can sort of like help somehow to advise us, how can we make this work better? If indeed it sounds as shit as it might do, then get in touch.
Let us know. Get in touch, Poindexter, and we'll.
Yeah. Otherwise, just apologise for how bad it might sound.
I mean, we're still streets ahead of certain podcasts for other football clubs, so the joke's on them.
Yeah.
We're working across telephone lines and wires, and there might be a pigeon sat on one or whatever. We don't know what happens.
Oh, I got birds on my roof. It's doing my head in.
Birds on the roof.
Yeah.
Well, we've covered all the topics this evening, haven't we? So that's good. If anyone's got anyone knows how to help Dan with the birds on his roof.
Genuinely, here's the situation. I can't get access to the roof, but I do want somehow to deter the birds from going on it.
Okay. If you're some sort of... Are they pigeons?
I don't know. I can't see them.
If you're some sort of pigeon whisperer, could you get in touch with us, please? That would be really cool.
Honestly, what's happening is, they wake me up in the morning. I'm lying in bed. I reach over to the floor beside me.
Yep.
Where I've got a broom handle, and from lying on my bed, I bang it on the ceiling. I've got marks all over the ceiling now. I bang it because they're pecking on the moss on my roof, and it's waking me up. I'm sick of him.
And if you think you've had coronavirus, you think you've got problems, eh?
This isn't even a coronavirus. This just happens every year. It's the spring. I think they're building nests or something. I don't know.
I mean, but birds do build nests, don't they?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
Anyway,
if anyone can help with any of those things, you can get in touch with us in all the normal ways. We're bigbankpod@gmail.com on the email. We're at Big Bank Pod on Twitter, and we're on Facebook, the Big Bang Theory Podcast. Now, Facebook.
Well, you say we're on Facebook.
Yeah, it hasn't been working. I'm working on that. I'm hoping to get it sorted for this episode. So,
Zuckerberg.
Sorts out. He is. He's awful. He's not paying his taxes, and he's not letting you have your Exeter City themed podcast listeners. So, you know what to do. Get yourself a Twitter account. Hopefully it'll be up there. If it's not, apologies. You can listen in all the normal places. Obviously, if you're waiting on Facebook to hear this and you can't hear this is useless to you. But
maybe you know someone who only uses Facebook, and you could tell them.
Tell them to get a podcast app until we've resolved. Otherwise, you can leave us a review saying they don't know much about pigeons or technology or football. We'll take those kind of reviews, but make sure they're 5 stars, please. This has been the Big Bank Theory podcast. My name's John. I've been here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Yeah, cheers.
See you soon.
Bye.